Hello everyone. Today's topic is does my is based on the I'm sorry for the Chaudhary, and today I'm presenting my topic on does my head look big in this? Introduction. The story is based in Australia about a Muslim girl who puts on hijab full time and how her family and friends react. Basically, this story is about an Australian girl named Amal who is facing trouble, who is facing all kinds of criticism after she puts on after she dons on hijab and goes to school, and there she faces lots of problems like criticisms from from her peers. Her parents also react. They think that it is too soon that Amal has decided to wear hijab, so things like that. And she faces a lot of things, and the story talks about how a young adult person deals with wearing a Muslim costume called hijab and how she goes on. Author bio. Randa Abdul Fatiha is an Australian writer of fiction and non-fiction. She's an advocate for Palestinian people and human rights in general, and much of her work focuses on identity and what it means to be Muslim in Australia. She has published over 11 novels in 15 countries. She's a very well known author and she advocates for Palestinian rights in Australia. And she's very successful as she has published her novels. She has published 11 novels in 15 countries. Background of key concepts: negotiating post colonialism, second, Homi ke Bhaba hybridity and class consciousness. Post colonialism. It is the critical study of the cultural, social, and economic impact of colonialism and imperialism. It focuses on the effect of dehumanization and control of land. Source: Encyclopedia Britannica. Negotiating post colonialism. In this story, we can see that the author explores some themes of colonization. For example, the protagonist's uncle and aunt have changed their names to Joe and Mandy, and how they behave like typical Aussie couple to fit in, but despite that, they still are strict with their children. We can see that although the couple, Joe and Mandy, behave like Australian couple and mix with Australians and behave like typical Australians, at home they still behave like a typical Muslim Palestinian family, and when their daughter Samantha asks wants to have a boyfriend, they are strictly against it because they believe that in Islam girls are not supposed to have a relationship before marriage, and if they want to have a relationship they should get married. Another example is that despite getting negative vibes from her peers, Amal forges on with wearing hijab full time at school and outside. She goes on to wear her hijab full time and she disregards anybody's opinion and what others have to say about her. And she believes that hijab for her is the right correctness. She wants to be close to God, and so she thinks wearing a hijab is the best option. And although her parents try to persuade her that maybe it's too soon, maybe she's too young, she says that she's not too young and it is now right for her to wear hijab. And she believes that wearing the hijab is the right thing to do. Homike Bhabha hybrid. It is defined as the emerging of new identities as a result of interaction with different cultures. Source Hudar David Homike Bhabha Routledge 2006. Homike Bhabha's hybridity is a theory which is explained as the emerging of a new identity through the mixture of two or more cultures. In this case, Australia is the land of immigrants, and more than one culture mixes together. So there is a pot full of cultures which mix together to form a new culture, hybrid culture. And Amal, the protagonist of the story, is part of this new culture, this hybrid culture, where she's Muslim, that she's Australian. So it's new kind of culture. Here in this slide, I have put together one of the examples. In the novel, the protagonist Amal is Muslim, and in school she has both Christian friends and Jewish friends. She treats everyone the same and does not judge them. She has a friend. She has a friend called Josh who's Jewish, and she has a friend called Samantha who's Christian. She does not judge them. She values them equally as friends and even spends time with them. This shows that she is a modern Muslim woman who accepts all religions and respects others and their religion. Homike Bhabha's I reading further, I continue. By setting the novel in Australia, which is a multi ethnic, multicultural place and a country of immigrants and former British colony, the author wants to explore how Islam can easily integrate with any other religion in any part of the world. The protagonist Amal exists as a link between Islam and the world. She easily fits in and makes it seem easy. Here, what I want to explain is that Amal fits in with being a Muslim living in a non-Muslim country, and she has all types of friends and all types of acquaintances. And since Australia is a multicultural place and a country of immigrants, she fits in seamlessly and makes it seem easy to fit in with any culture, whether you're Muslim, Christian, or Jew or Hindu. You fit in and you respect everybody and everybody's culture. That's what I want to explain here. Other concepts: marriage and halal relationships, Edward Said Orientalism. Marriage and halal relationships. Marriage is the union of two people in the eyes of God. In the novel, the protagonist friend, Leila is constantly set up by her matchmaking mother with a suitor. She holds the age-old belief that a Muslim girl's end goal is to get married and have a family. Here, what I want to say is that uh, in Islam, marriage is given a very high importance, and we are told that there is no other relationship other than marriage that we can have with our opposite gender. And so there is a character called Layla in the story whose mother is of the staunch belief that a girl's whole life consists of getting married, having children, and living with her husband and her family. So she tries to set up Layla with different suitors every chance she gets. Although this is true, but in another sense, marriage in the modern world happens nowadays only after the girl is settled and is ready to get married. It doesn't follow the age old pattern that Layla's mother has aimed. Layla aims to become a lawyer and then settle down, but her mother constantly pushes her to get married, and that's it. Marriage in halal relationships. Another example from the novel is the crush Amal has on her classmate Adam. At one point during Adam's party, he tries to kiss Amal, but she moves away, stating that in Islam such things and relationships are forbidden. She wants to have a halal relationship with someone in the future through marriage. In the story, we can see that there is a kind of more than friendship between Adam and Amal as they chat every day, every chance they get when they're home. And Adam opens up about his thoughts about his mother, his family, and other things, and believes that Amal also has opened up about things that she can't share with other people, and through that they form a close knit relationship. More, at least from Adam's point of view, he thinks more of Amal more than a friend. But when Adam tries to kiss Amal during a party of his, she shies away, backs away, and says that in Islam such relationships are not allowed. And so Adam gets discouraged, and a rift forms between them. And here we get to see the author blending in halal relationships, a new concept of halal relationships, where in Islam you only get to have the relationship with your spouse, and you can't have any other kinds of illicit relationships. So the author seamlessly binds this when she writes about this part. Orientalism. This concept is coined by Edward Said as how the West views the East through Oriental lenses. Source: Said Edward Orientalism book. The the West views the East as oppressed, as exotic, as something other than what the West defines. So Edward Said has come up with a theory called Edward Said came up with a theory called Orientalism to define how West thinks about East through Oriental lenses. Edward Said Orientalism. In the novel, everybody is shocked when they see Amal, the protagonist, don hijab. People in school think her parents forced her and she's oppressed. When Amal goes to the school wearing hijab, her friends and peers think she's oppressed by her parents to wear hijab, as hijab is saying conforming and something that only a young girl would only wear it if their parents forced them to do so. And some even think that she is part of a terrorist group because hijab or Muslim veil is associated with terrorism by the West. And so different people come up with different theories as to why Amal is wearing the hijab. But none of them believe when Amal says that she really wants to wear the hijab because she wants to, not being forced by society, parents or anything, but she wants to wear it because she thinks it's the right thing to do, and right, and the right time has come. It would side oriented. Another example is when the protagonist visits the school principal to inform her of a decision to wear hijab full time. The principal's first reaction is that such behavior can be tolerated in a prestigious school, and parents need to come talk to the principal before reaching a decision. I find this very funny and interesting because the principal thinks that her parents are forcing her to wear a hijab, and so she wants to talk uh, with her parents to know why Amal has decided to wear the hijab after a long time, after never wearing it before. And then she goes on to talk about how prestigious the school is in Melbourne, and how the reputation of the school would be affected if she wears it. And then at the end, when Amal doesn't budge, then she confirms to talking with the parents to get to bottom of the situation. But at the end, Amal gets to wear the hijab, and her parents say that they're not forcing her to wear. Analysis. The novel explores many things like the experience of growing up as a Muslim in a Western country after the aftermath of 9/11 America and Bali terrorist attack. Through the protagonist, we go through a journey on how Muslims have integrated and assimilated in the Anglo-Australian community. Through the protagonist example, we get to know how Muslims in Australia live and how they adapt to the challenges that they face, and how a young 16-year-old girl growing up in a fully Anglo-Australian school being judged for wearing the hijab and forming friendships with other people of other races, and how she actually faces the uh, problems and challenges and grows as an adult. And yeah, that's it. In conclusion, many theories can be used to analyze this novel. The two theories I'll be using is post-colonialism and Homi K. Bhabha's hybridity. These theories more or less help me to define what I kind of think of, how I want to approach this novel. Postcolonialism theory, there is hints of colonialist vibes coming from the people surrounding her, and Homiki Bhabha's hybridity fully explains helps to use the helps to analyze this properly uh, the theory the theory uh, explains how the immigrants, it's hybridity theory, so it explains how one person can mingle with other cultures and still be true to themselves. Any question answer? Thank you. The story, I've enjoyed reading this story, and the story was very interesting. I really liked how the um, author used a young protagonist experiences the challenges to build up a novel, and how seamlessly she has blended all different types of races like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and presented a hybrid community, and explained how people usually react to hijab and Islam in the Western world. So that's it for today. Thank you.